Hey, this is Jonathan Lampel from CG Cookie and the RetopoFlow team, and I got a really interesting question recently about how to retopologize an object like this, which is made up of chainmail, and so it's mostly holes. I'm sure you can imagine that trying to retopologize without poking through the mesh would be incredibly tedious and frustrating. Not to mention that it's not a continuous surface, so a lot of classic retopology tools just won't work. Now, if you try to take something like this and remesh it with Blender's Remesh modifier, then you're still going to end up with a lot of holes and it's going to be a giant pain. But there's actually a new way to remesh in Blender 5.0 that's not in the Remesh modifier, and it's also not in the Object Data tab under Remesh, but is currently only in geometry nodes. So hopefully this will come to the Remesh modifier in the future, but for now, to remesh this, let's drag up our timeline here and switch that over to the geometry node editor. Now, if you're new to geometry nodes, don't be intimidated by this because the solution is literally just 2 nodes. So it's going to be very quick. Let's go ahead and add a new geometry node tree, zoom in here, and we're going to use a mesh to SDF grid node. So we can go to Shift A, mesh and operations, and mesh to SDF grid. Now that's going to output this grid socket, which we can't just plug back into the geometry output. Now, to explain what's going on, let's take a look at, instead of mesh to SDF, mesh to volume. And this is one that you might have used before, and you can plug the volume right into the geometry output. And since we don't have a whole lot of mesh, like the actual rings are very, very thin, we're going to have to increase the voxel amount quite a bit. I'll go to 250 and also increase the density a lot so we can actually see this. And from there, we're starting to get a picture of what the volume of this would be. But again, the volume of whatever's inside the rings is going to be very, very small. And if we were to convert this from a volume to a mesh, we would get the exact same result as the voxel remesher. Now, to help us visualize this, I'm going to add a lattice really quick. And in the lattice properties, I will set the resolution to 10. And you can imagine that each little cube inside of this is a voxel. And when we're working with volumes, we're essentially asking how much of each little voxel is inside the mesh. So if we have an object that's inside, I'll add a sphere here, scale this down. You know, the voxel that's all the way here on the outside corner is not going to be inside at all, and so it'll get a value of 0. But one of the voxels that's fully inside the sphere would get a value of 1. And then let's just say that all of the voxels that are right on the edge here would get a value of 0.5. So it's just testing whether or not the voxel is inside the mesh or not. But we need a little bit more information here because our object is made up of mostly holes. So we can't just test whether or not it's inside the mesh. We need to test how close it is to the mesh. And that's exactly where SDFs come in handy. The D in SDF stands for distance. It's a signed distance field, and the distance tells us how close it is to the mesh. So I'll delete this mesh to volume here and delete our extra objects. And now from an SDF grid, we're just going to go back from a grid to a mesh and plug that mesh right into the geometry. Now, we're not going to get a great result right out of the gate because our voxel size is way too big. So I'm going to turn this down to 1 centimeter. And then we also need to change the threshold because right now that's a little bit too big. So I'll change that to 0.01. And now if that voxel is within 0.01 meters of the mesh, then we're going to get a solid surface. Now, conveniently, we can use the exact same size for the threshold as the voxel size in this case. So I'll go ahead and plug that into the modifier input. I'll just call this geometry nodes setup SDF remesh. And I'll plug that right into the threshold. Now, if I have a voxel size of 5, then we're going to get a very, very thick, kind of displaced version. And if I do something like 0.5 centimeters, then we're going to get even closer to the mesh. And if I go too small, like 0.1 centimeters, then we'll even start to get those holes. But I think 1 centimeter for this particular object is perfect. Now, since this is a nice, smooth, watertight mesh now, we can use all of our regular retopology tools. So since I'm using RetopoFlow, I can hit Shift-A, Mesh, and Retopology from Active, and I can start drawing on here with PolyPen. I can even use contours to make a cut all the way through, and that'll loop all the way around, and I can just make cuts as needed. Or I can use strokes or polystrips to start following the contours of this object. Again, if I were to try to do this on the chainmail itself, that would be a huge hassle. Another thing that I want to mention here is that you might want to smooth this out or displace it a little bit. For example, if this is still too thick and far away from the original chainmail thickness, then we could add a displacement modifier after the fact and decrease this to, let's say, negative 0.01 or something. But you'll notice that all of these operations are very slow, and that's because it's recalculating this SDF conversion every time. So to fix this, I'm just going to use a bake node, like so. Click bake, and that'll only take, a fraction of a second. But once I do that, then all of the rest of these modifiers are going to be in real time. So I can make that a little bit thinner. I can add some smoothing with the smooth modifier, whatever we need to do. And then we'll have a nice, smooth manifold mesh to work with. Now, of course, chainmail is probably a fairly niche thing to need to retopologize, but if you're working with scans, then you might have a lot of holes or otherwise nasty topology that you'd want to first quickly remesh before you get into the actual retopology process. If you want to learn more about retopology and RetopoFlow specifically, check out the Orange Turbine YouTube channel, where we post tutorials specific to that and all the development updates. So that's it for this one. It's a pretty quick tip, but I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.